And my new book is a rallying call to women. The front cover says how women can lead the way in the climate emergency. And the bottom line is this decade needs us. This decade needs more women. It needs our creativity, our ingenuity, and our solutions. This decade needs us, I'm reading from the book, this decade needs us to marshal our collective power and our emotional intelligence, to gather our networks and to speak our truth to power. It needs us to tell our climate stories, how we feel, what we are doing in our lives. When you tell your story from your heart, I promise you, it will resonate with someone else. And you only need an audience of one. And if you can influence that one person, you are powerful, and that's important. When I started 1 Million Women, I didn't know really anything about climate change. I didn't know who the Environment Minister was. I didn't know any climate policy. I was actually overwhelmed with anxiety. I was assailed with all those, those feelings that mostly women feel. I'm an imposter. I'm not a climate scientist. What if somebody, oh my goodness, asks me a question that I don't know the answer to? Who am I anyway to be able to lead? And it took a lot to get through that anxiety. But the thing is, when I had my story, and when I could just settle back, and it was raw, and it was honest, and it was real, and when I could just tell that story to others, that anxiety did go away. And when I felt that when you tell your story, there is a different kind of energy that flows, and it is really magical when you resonate and you connect with someone from truth-telling. In my book, I explore about why connecting to our local community is so critical in this decade for climate action. I talk about how we have to use optimism as a strategy to stop us from sinking into despair. And of course, I focus on the day-to-day stuff because it is fundamental to how we live, getting our food waste down, our energy bills, embracing renewable energy, embracing, every dollar that we spend to make sure it is for the good of the planet, looking at where our superannuation is invested. And if I could just plug Verve Super for a minute, that's why we are working with them, because they're a super fund for women that doesn't invest in fossil fuels. We can't be marching in the streets and demand action from politicians and brands and corporations. We have to do that. We must do that. All of us must keep that pressure on. But we can't just do that and think that we're doing our bit if we still live our lives filled with overconsumption. We need to do it all. We need to live climate action, and we need to fight for it too. We need to connect to our communities, and we need to be having those conversations. We can change the hearts and minds of politicians if enough of us are having those climate conversations in our electorates, with our local MPs, sharing what we are doing in our lives, building those relationships, championing those politicians, whatever side of politics they are from, championing those who will bravely stand up for climate action. Because if we do that, if all of us do that all the time with all politicians and give them that support, then actually we could help to bring about bipartisan support, and that is something that is so needed right here, right now. And I just wanted to take one moment to tell you that 1 Million Women, of course, is gearing up for this. We are launching a new campaign called I'm Ready, and it coincides with my book tour. And we're launching I'm Ready to respond to the scale and speed at which we need to act now in these 2 years, in this decade. I'm ready is, I think, one of the biggest contributions that we can make right now. Our goal is, of course, nothing too big, just to engage another 1 million women over the next couple of years. But it is also to gather our networks, to have in-home conversations, to educate and teach and give each other that support so we can have those conversations with our local MPs. So, my book also carries the voices and storytelling of some amazing women that Robin was saying, Mary Robinson, Christiana Figueres, who led the Paris Agreement, but also other amazing women. And one in particular is my dear friend Auntie B. Ballingerry, an Aboriginal elder of the Goombaya Nation of the mid-north coast of New South Wales. And she gives us this really special gift. It's in the back of the book, and it is her circle work. It is teaching us how to connect to country, how to listen to the land through the soles of our feet and through the music in the air. Nobody can doubt the immensity of the challenge we face. If we are going to seriously respond to climate change, it needs us all to be transforming our lives and that of our communities. We have to chart our own journey. We have to find our own voice, shape our own stories, connect to country, live with the least impact on the planet. We have to be citizens of this world and not consumers of it. And we have to be optimistic and hopeful. But most importantly, we have to be present, right here, right now.